Hey, welcome back to the Soul Pod. This is Stacy. This video is for anyone who's ever treated emotional pain like it's the enemy. As it turns out, it's your friend. Carl Jung once wrote that there's no coming to consciousness without pain. Jung understood that pain's a teacher, that becoming conscious is messy. You see, we don't wake up unless we lean into our pain, but our reflex is the opposite of that. We run away from it. You see, pain's like an email being sent from our future self, telling us we got to do this work if we want to be happy down there. And then we've got fear that comes in when we have emotional pain, where we don't move on it, we don't change it, we don't do the thing we need to do because fear's like it's like an intern deleting that email. It's seeing that thing and going, playing gatekeeper against the work we need to do by deploying fear in its place. So we get stuck. See, to move through this, to get through this, to grow, to expand, you got to call it out. You got to call out pain. You got to got to call out the fear thing to get through the pain. You see, pain doesn't care about safe. Pain doesn't care about safe. It cares about true. Pain, pain is a call to step up, to expand, to become a greater version of ourselves. And this is the place where expansion happens when we lean into that. You see, with pain, we got to call it out. We got to step up to it. Pain says, stay small. It says, shrink, don't expand. But you see, pain doesn't care about safe. It cares about what's true. It's a call to step up. It's a call to step up. And it's a place where expansion happens when you lean into that pain. The great writer Anais Nin said that life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Courage. It's important that she uses that word because it is about fear. And to move through fear, we must have courage. Well, the beauty is that most of the fear we have around this stuff is just fear of the unknown. It's fear that we ourselves have constructed. We've talked about that in the past. We construct these walls of fear that in our minds are massive, but when we test them, they usually fall over because they're really just misty versions of what a wall might be. But it's just some ethereal thing we've created in our mind that could just be blown away with a strong wind or a strong effort or just a little courage, as Anais Nin put it. So you ready to flip the script? You ready to change this? You ready to lean in with a little bit of that Anais Nin courage? Here's what you do. Here's a wonderful trick you can use. When you notice yourself having some fear about whatever, some decision you're going to make, some life change, and we all have these. When you notice that anxiety building up, and you know where you feel it in your body, it's different for all of us. For me, it's right about there. This is what you do. Remember that fear is your professor. It's your professor. It's your great teacher. So if you want to do the work, if you want to flip the script, if you want to change this thing up and take control of it and actually start to shift the way you look at fear, this is a tool you can use. Do this for about a week and you'll see a difference pretty darn quickly. In a moment when you start to feel fear creeping in over whatever, and we all feel it in a different part of our body. For me, it's usually right about there, right? Wherever you feel your fear, maybe it's in your gut, maybe it's in your head, maybe it's in your neck, wherever it is. When you feel it, you recognize that you feel it and what you're feeling it about. Clench your fist and welcome the professor. Just go, hello, professor. Take 2 deep breaths and just release your grip, release your hand, all that pressure in your hand. What this is doing is it's welcoming in this thing. It's acknowledging this thing, and then you are releasing it. It's really just a memo to yourself to tell yourself in that moment that this thing is happening. It's not a big, you're not going to have a big war with your anxiety, with your fear thing here. It's just a memo that this is happening. Now, as this happens more and more, and you clench and you welcome the professor, hello, professor, after a very short time, sometimes less than a week, you'll start to laugh when this happens. And It's different for all of us, but the reason you'll laugh, you'll understand in that moment why you laugh. For me, it's just going, wow, man, this thing is, sometimes it's, geez, this thing's really, this is having an effect on me. This is playing on my mind more than I realize throughout my day, because sometimes these fear thoughts will come into our minds, usually when we're trying to convince ourselves to make a decision about something, and it'll play over and over and over and over in our minds because we haven't gotten there. But we've got the professor in the back of our mind telling us we need to move on this, and fear is keeping us from doing it. So you do this every time. You do this every time. Hello, professor. Welcome back. And then at some point you start laughing about it because you're releasing. You're releasing each time. And after 2 weeks of this, you're going to be making a decision about something. And at the very least, you're going to understand your central nervous system a little bit better. You're going to understand how fear is playing in your life. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. It's time to start recognizing where fear is holding you back and deciding for yourself how much courage you have, how much you want to stay stuck. This is the moment where you tell fear to go to hell and you take control of your own life. You push through fear and you use courage to take you to the next level. Thanks for being here. I'll see you on the next video.